our next speaker is literally a marketing genius. He's about to take the stage. And not only has he taken 2 companies and turned them into franchises, he's a franchisor internationally, but additionally, he's building businesses that are making money while he sleeps. Please help me welcome to the stage, Shane Seymour.
Take you back with me 20 years when I was 19. 18 terrible bosses in 12 months.
We've all seen the hot seats before. We haven't done a hot seat for a couple of months. But I've asked Shane in. I've been thinking about Shane coming in to share with you, and this one felt like a good one for you to do. I've now known Shane for, I know, maybe before COVID. We did lunch probably in 2019. He came to, and we probably Shane came to a couple of our networking events over the years and stuff, and so he started his business in 2003, and he's grown it from his garage into 45 franchises with supply chain company and wherever it is now. Now, I don't need to steal his thunder or anything. He's going to share with him where he is and all that. It's an open platform, so I'll sort of lead the questioning a bit, but if you've got questions and stuff, we'll just have a chat. You're open with everything. We'll keep it at Chatham House rules, so everything you say in here, you keep in here. So don't go sharing Shane's stuff outside of this room, but obviously use it as an opportunity to learn from, inquire. There's some common challenges that people have in business that will come up. So we'll go from there. Cool?
Sure.
So first up though, can you give us business facts? Like, where's the business today? Where are you at? Give us the lay of the land of your business ecosystem as of today.
Okay, so I just came from home, which is national headquarters. Set it up like that, and very lean head office. So there's 2 staff in head office, an ops manager and a marketing and warehouse hand and manager all in one, other than myself, and they run the whole company, both companies actually, most of it, and they look after the monster TV Magic, which we're looking at 45 technicians around the country doing anywhere from 400 to 650 jobs a week. And we've been going for 22 years.
So a technician can do 400 jobs a week?
No, that's between all of them.
Okay, gotcha, cool, right.
Between the 45.
So yeah, they're averaging 10 to 20 jobs a week each. No, I can't do that many.
I need to learn.
He wishes he could do 400 jobs a week.
They're good, but not that good.
Like I got 90 contractors that I can't get them to do that many jobs a week.
Yeah, right. So like the transactions on average $450. So yeah, between 2 and 5 jobs a day per guy.
Okay.
No, not each. But hopefully, yeah, we're aiming to double that, triple that. Still a lot of potential. In those 22 years, I was on the tools myself. I don't know. I'm getting back to that.
Yeah, so that's where you are now.
Yep.
And I think you mentioned before you've got the supply chain cable company
Mhm.
that has heap of the products that the whole team use.
Yes.
So you've got those 2 entities running.
Yep.
So let's go back to the start. So how did it start? I think you were like, what? You would have been 5 when you started, because you're only 30-ish now?
I dropped out of the military. I dropped out of uni. I started when I was 20. and just sort of young and naive, and just had a go, had a crack. Didn't know what I was doing. So I was on the tools and made my way with the old newspaper ads, yellow pages. Thought I'd made it. My offsider and I, but I dabbled in contracting really early on. Like, so first year of business, second year of business, I had hired someone over the phone in Adelaide and Melbourne with zero systems, zero control, zero know-how what I'm doing, and would have these yellow pages ads right across the country, and that was a success and a failure in so many levels. My Brisbane business took the hit and absorbed all that, but it was a failure overall. But
Failure overall
because I didn't hire well, I had no systems and control.
Financially, was it a hit?
No, my Brisbane business absorbed all that mistake. The biggest thing I got out of it was the marketing knowledge. And the mistakes taught me a lot at a young age. And I just kept persevering. That
So just so that we've got some context, in those early days, you were going around and installing TVs or fixing antennas, or like what were you actually doing in those early days?
those early days, probably for the first year or two, I was like a TV tuning whiz kid. I call myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I think like for all of us context, 22 years ago, early 2000s,
Analog.
internet was new,
yeah,
mobile phones were still bricks. We had the Nokia 3110s maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, analog and
Really
digital
early days of
antennas.
I was making $1,000 a week, tuning in VCR, setting up DVD players.
Yeah.
I had a backpack of tools, like in a sedan, no ladders, no drills.
Yeah.
If a job needed me to go on the roof, or that was for someone else.
And I think also context, like 50 grand then, $1,000 a week, 50 grand for the year was pretty good money for a 20-year-old in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
When I left the army as a 20-year-old, when I graduated from uni as in the army, I was on 35 grand, and I would have been 10, and this was probably 5-6 years earlier, but I would have been heaps farther ahead than anyone else that graduated at that time.
Yeah.
So good salary.
And by the time I was 25, when I had my offsider going out doing jobs for me, and my Adelaide contract and my Melbourne contract to give me $700 a week, and Shane's not doing anything, I
Yeah,
thought I'd made it
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
at age 25.
sweet. So,
Rent was $50, so you
so I
know.
learned that lesson early on with marketing. So what did you learn about marketing?
That the fear of expanding outside of where you live in your territory, it's just another world that's like here but out there.
Yeah.
Not to be scared. There's customers out there. Like I know the real fear people have to put on another branch down the other end of the coast, let alone in another state or another side of the country. I got over that really early. Like, yes, I was really fearful when my van was down in Adelaide and couldn't see the guy, and there's no technology back then to keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Just got over all that mental, those mental blocks really early on.
Yeah.
With marketing, it was reassuring. As much of a failure it was when my phone was ringing 100 times a day. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was 100. Because I'm receiving calls from every capital city in the country, I knew that if you spend the money,
It works.
it works.
Yeah.
That's the biggest fear of most businesses. Everyone's scared to go on the radio or TV. If you want to grow your business, go big.
They did it at home.
Yeah, you gotta not do what I did and have the capacity to fulfill those extra customers. That's the biggest problem with most businesses. That was my problem when I was younger.
Yeah. So you learned very early on that there was a market everywhere, which would have opened your eyes to that opportunity of growing outside of the one-man band or just in the city or where you were. So what then happened? What was the shifting moment or the next, like if we look at businesses, you're always growing and changing. What was the next big level shift for you? When did that happen?
Two come to mind. Well, I kept getting, I can't think of a nice way to say this, but effed over, screwed over.
The
By,
technical term we use is fucked over. You're okay with that?
In this room, yeah.
that is the
Anyone
most,
listening to the recording, sorry, but that's how we do it.
kept getting screwed over by contractors. They didn't saw my lack of systems and development and what do you call it, groundwork, foundations.
Yeah.
And they thought they could do it themselves. So why are they giving me a slice of the pie? It was so they would leave, and I put all the love and time and energy into training them and supporting them, and they would just go copy my newspaper ad on.
Yeah.
And made that mistake nearly a dozen times until I realized that yeah, I needed to franchise, and it just flips everything.
Yeah. So you recognise I need to be able to control them once I've trained them. I
Yeah,
need that better.
yeah.
And franchise was the solution you chose.
And having them have skin in the game,
Yeah.
some loyalty, and everything flips on its head. It goes from them wanting to should I stay to I never want to leave
Yeah.
if you get the right people.
Yeah. And so when did you bring on your first franchise?
A year after I finally decided to franchise, and that was about 2012, 2013, so roughly 10 years in.
So the cost to setting up the legal side of the franchise, was that a big hurdle for you to overcome?
Yeah, so that's a story in itself, very briefly. When I was 25, I inquired about franchising, and I got the advice was I needed 100 grand minimum, maybe 300, and that's true until today. But I did it on a shoestring budget, 10 grand for the legals back then, 10 grand for new branding, 10 grand. So then I paid that off bit by bit. So 30 grand I got started. Still didn't sell a franchise for 12 months because you got to put your franchise out there. It was at least 100 grand before I sold the first one a year later. And realizing if I had to franchise from scratch ever again, yeah, you need a couple $100 grand. But knowing what I know now, I franchised Assembly Magic, and that's a brand new franchise business. Sold my first franchise within 2 months of starting the company. Still 45 grand. But that's because I had all the contacts and know-how. I was able to do a lot of leg work but if you're doing it from scratch, it's easily a couple $100 grand to build a franchise.
So what was how much did the first franchise all pay to get in?
The first franchisee?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
We started it at 69,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that came with the training, all that sort of stuff.
Does that give them a guarantee of income?
No guarantee of income. In franchising, the code of conduct said you can't guarantee an income at all. The laws are always changing, but you have to be careful about showing what their potential income can be in franchising now.
But isn't it like, I thought it was the opposite in the way that you had to have done the analysis in that area that they're buying in for the franchise for them to be successful. For you to take a monetary side, you had to show them some level of success that you can generate.
Well, you don't. I mean, okay, so if you're a brand new company and you have no one and you're first ever, how do you show them that?
Yeah, true.
Okay, so I'm not a lawyer, but what we do, we very carefully show them what our existing guys have done in the past.
Yeah, big
Okay, and I think that's what the law says. We actually can't even say, oh, they'll be doing this in the future. That paints a picture for them. We because that's proof.
Yeah.
There's no proof that they're going to continue, and there's no proof this is going to work for you, and there's no proof this is going to work in this territory. And you got two arms held behind your back when you're selling a franchise. It does get easier though when you got 40 guys showing some
social proof saying what you've done previously. Yeah.
The first 10 are ridiculously hard because you're convincing all the way up to until you've got some proof in the pudding. I mean, any excuse is good enough for a lot of prospects. In franchising, you talk to 100 people before you sell one franchise, and for good reason. They lack the confidence to back themselves. They worry about, will this work in Alice Springs, and even we doubt it sometimes. We're like, because we know for well now, we've got our 20% poster childs and our 20% problem childs, and every franchise network has that. And the next guy you put on in Alice Springs, let's say, they'll blame the territory, but it's not the territory, it's them. Because if you take one of your poster childs and put them at Alice, they'll thrive.
Yeah.
It's if you've got a strong system.
Did you explore the difference between licensing and franchising before you jumped into franchising? Because there is that stepping stone a lot of franchises take.
I did not, not a lot. Are you familiar with it at all?
Yeah.
In a way, they're kind of the same. Legally, they're completely two different things. I still can't wrap my head around what the difference is.
Yeah. Well, I used to be once upon a time, long time ago, the national manager for a licensed business that became a franchise business.
Gotcha.
Great. So
Yeah.
we started off as licensing, and then they went down the franchise road, which obviously there's more rules and regulation around franchising than there is around licensing. And
Yeah.
but there's a stepping stone, and then we already had the network. Less legal regulation on licensing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting that you went straight to it and successfully too. It's great.
Would you do it again?
No.
Sorry, there's
That
a.
was going to be one of my
I
end questions.
have
Sorry,
a good mate of mine, Damien Urban Clean, he's got 140 franchisees, and we look at each other and would you start this all over again? And we're like, fuck no. We
Technical term again.
Yeah.
would buy an existing business. Building the goodwill and the brand reputation is hard.
So you'd franchise again, but you wouldn't start a business from
I would
scratch
buy an
again.
existing franchise business. I just wouldn't start one from scratch ever again alone.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So you're happy with the franchise model, just not the having to do it for that first
correct.
thing. So let's just shift gears now again and jump forward. So 45 franchisees, the next franchisee coming on board, how much are they going to pay?
We've put up our franchises to 110 now.
Yeah.
They've gone up incrementally, 5-10 grand every couple of years.
How does that compare with guys like
In our
gyms,
industry.
gyms or stuff like that? I'd say in your industry, yeah.
Yeah.
But Tim's has branched out to have franchises in most of those.
We started, we were 10
service sectors.
grand more expensive than gyms.
Yep.
They were 60. I think
Yeah.
they still are 60.
Yeah.
And that's why are they so cheap compared to us? Well, lots of reasons now, but we can confidently say, the difference, there's a lot of differences between them and us. We have a huge retention rate, but the basic reason, they'll cram 5 guys into the city of Townsville, whereas Townsville is one territory for our system.
Okay.
And so our franchise has a genuine opportunity to enable the franchisee to get off the tools and actually grow beyond one van. I'd like to talk about that if that was.
Yeah, let's go do that then. And I think that's, before we do that, let's do this. The value proposition, and I know you're not allowed to legally say what they can sort of earn and stuff, but I think that value proposition now leads into the opportunity for them to grow, and probably definitely part of that.
We can talk about that.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can talk about the past.
Yeah. So, sure, go.
Okay. So being in franchising for a decade and gone to the NFC, the FCA conferences, the National Franchise Convention, Franchise Council of Australia. I've met Clark Rubbers and Boost Juice and all of these guys. There's like 2,000 brands of franchise brands in Australia. And it's talked about the good force and the bad force of franchising. There's certain names that the franchisor is a little bit greedy and they have a huge success rate of failing franchises. They make their money by reselling the territory over and over again. And they're a training company in disguise or a marketing company in disguise. And then you've got the good force of franchising, the Pool Works, the Horror Hubbies, TV Magic, Leather Doctor, a whole bunch of others, and they actually care about their franchisees and they understand the win-win-win. The system is good because the franchisees are happy and they're only taking a little bit of what the franchisees earn, and franchisees make a lot of money. Franchising in America was designed for that, but some franchisors in America and Australia have got it backwards. So I just wanted to put that out there because a lot of people are burnt by certain brands of franchising and they give franchising a bad name.
And I think in those businesses, there is that timeline in as a franchisee, and then they're all, how do I get out of it?
That's right.
And
I've had franchisees buy our franchise from other franchises. And I said, what was your experience like? One of them had a landscaping franchise in New Zealand. He said, great company, loved it, made a ton of money. Why'd you leave? Well, just wanted to do something different, but can't praise them enough. That's what we want. Whereas if I have a conversation with someone that thinks about franchising, but they know someone or have personally been burnt by it, there's no chance in hell I'll sell them one. They think this experience will be the same because they've been exposed to this side of franchising, not this side.
yeah,
If you want to franchise your business, the success of your franchisees is paramount. You got to give a shit.
yeah.
And it's no different to being a business with your employees.
So, before we move on to that topic, we were just talking. So, how do you help them succeed?
Okay, in many ways. Hey, Shane Seymour here. I was just sitting in the office watching that video, and oh my god, I did not answer that question very well at all. Really undersold myself because right after that question, when I was talking about the good franchise companies out there and the bad ones, we really take it for granted. So the real answer to the question, what do we do to help our franchisees? And the answer is a freaking lot. You know, have no idea. We got the supply chain, we got the marketing, the support, the culture. You know, if you've gone through our system process or done your research on us, we do more than a lot of franchise companies. That's why our franchisees are the most successful in the industry, and across a lot of the mobile service brands out there, we do extremely well. So I really undersold myself because I was in a different frame of mind in the interview. Anyway, back to the interview. At the end of the day, we just give them a nudge to back themselves, like to step up. They're a little bit above that employee mentality, but not much more. They're like we call them children.
I think I see franchise as a bit of it's the employee's opportunity to test their world in the business space.
Correct.
So they feel more supported.
Yep.
And they don't have to take as big a risk and be as courageous.
A classic example is the marketing side of things. If you come on board with our system, the way we sell it to you and the way we pitch it is head office isn't going to do everything for you, but we're here to help. Okay, there's a franchise systems that the franchisor does all the marketing for their franchisees. Then your franchisees are the first to say, "Hey, I'm quiet, I'm busy, I'm slow. What are you doing for me?" Because it's all if they do
Because they're reliant on somebody, yeah.
If you put it all on them, and there are franchise systems that they're quite upfront, we're not going to do anything for you. You have to do this and this and this. Here's a book. You got to go door knocking. You got to go do letterbox drops or whatever. That's harder to sell, but they're quite upfront about it. Then they feel as though that it's easier for them to leave too, because they see that they can do it all on their own. And if they do figure it out, it's like, well, head office never helped me anyway.
Yeah.
So I got this advice from my lawyer early on, and a lot of good franchise systems, it's a team effort. Head office will do the marketing that's best done by head office, and the franchisees will best do marketing that they can do locally. And there's a big difference. We've got 76 strategies on the go, or thereabouts. And head office does do marketing that we're meant to do, and the franchisee will do the things that we can't do, like go park the car out the front of JB Hi-Fi, or put an A-frame out the front of the house, or get a Google review or whatever.
Yeah.
And that team effort is how we sell it. So if you're thinking about, you know, your employees, empowering them to step it up, this might give you some ideas.
Yeah. So shifting to the conversation that you just talked about of the franchisee is empowered to grow their team and has that opportunity that you talked about for a bit.
Yeah, okay. Well, like employees, our franchisees, they're all different personalities. We've got some that want to grow, and some that just want to cruise, or they're comfortable.
Yeah.
And pros and cons, but I don't interfere with how they want to run their business. We have minimum performance criteria, but there's a franchisee that's a 10-year veteran now over in Perth, and pushed him. He's so ready for an extra van, like commercially, but he's got other priorities in life. You know, he's got 6 kids, and
Why the guy TV?
Yeah.
he's happy, and he just wants to be himself, and he doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to stay. He doesn't want to grow. Doesn't want to leave. He does a great job. I just let Sam be Sam.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's a few of them. What do you do? It's a contract as well, and he ticks a lot of boxes. So, and every franchise system has this. You can't have 100% eagles. You know, have your ducks and.
But to be honest, he's probably a really great franchisee because he's consistent. He stays in that middle.
Yep.
He's happy to be there, and his problems are a lot less, and his wins are a lot less as well. But he's just consistent and stable.
Is he in the middle though?
Totally in the middle.
Yeah.
Totally in the middle. Yeah.
Because you can see sometimes you get that great personality, person you want to.
He's great for the reputation and the customer. You can't fault him on the original concept. But then, you know, things evolve, and then you see someone that comes in, they joined last year and they've got 3 vans already.
Yeah.
Come on.
Can you put it in another franchise there? Because he doesn't want to grow.
Well, there's pros and cons that in the franchising space we can't, because we sell an exclusive territory, so we'll never rain on your parade and keep it that way.
So do you get to a point where you can't sell any more franchises, and have you got a number of how many you can sell?
We do,
Hmm.
yeah, and most of the good ones do. You have it's called territory stock.
Mm-hmm.
Once you sell all your stock, that's it.
Okay.
Now it's about maximizing the growth that we have, and for me personally, if they put on extra vans, you get a little bit of extra royalties for every extra van they put on. So, but some will never do that.
Yeah.
And the other side, the supply chain. So the busier they are, they come to your house and mount a TV for $300. They've used one of our brackets and our HDMI cables. Every one of them they use. They get
Yeah, right. So, yeah.
So the busier
Supply
they
chain
are,
is the
the
bigger.
more,
Yeah.
yeah. We're diversifying more and more. Like a long time ago, we got into satellite. We never did, and there's another company called Internet Magic. That was a partnership, and that failed. And that was to get into the mesh and Wi-Fi systems and Starlink. That failed because of the partner. He quit after 2 months. Anyway, we started to take on those services, and that would have been a forking where they can't provide these services because it was a separate business. Now TV Magic does all the internet side of things. Security, we're getting into that, but I've separated that now. Alarms and cameras and CCTV, that's going to be a separate franchise. I don't know.
This is the guy that said he wouldn't do it again, but he's doing it again.
No, he left.
No, I mean you.
Oh,
So when I asked you, would you do a franchise here again? You said not from start, but guess what?
You are.
guess
You are.
what? Difference being, I'm
Yeah.
already set up
Yeah,
and don't have to start again.
yeah, and you know what you know now. You
Know what I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's
And
just
I re-
diversification of the same.
I just think I got a
imagine
business right for
it's
doing
security
franchise.
magic or something.
Like this is literally how hard it is. I will just copy cookie cutter everything from TV Magic into Security Magic,
$500.
and can go to Charlie, who has 3 successful TV Magic vans, and go, Charlie, I'm just going to give you another 300 to 400 grand a year and work. Just get another van. We're gonna put Security Magic on it. Let's go. And then and it's a no-brainer, and he'll have resistance to it. And I've already got the customer, got the friend ready to go, and trying to get him mentally to do something new and expand. He's just like a typical business. Oh, but what if it doesn't work? Oh, wow.
Do they have to?
Oh, it's new. It's
Is their
different.
cost only?
It's
for that?
already hard, and I've got everything lined up.
Is their cost buying another franchise for that as well?
Well, even if it is, they've got to get another car. They've got to pay for the site. They've got to put some money behind it.
Do any of your franchisees have a second job though? Is my question now.
A second job?
Yeah, like do they do this on the side, for example?
Oh, no. They're all, that's their
That's their
full-time gig.
Do you see the mentality of the franchisee? I'm buying myself a job.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, but then who are we kidding ourselves? We all think we have a business sometimes, and you can't step away from your business for more than a couple of months. You have a job. So yeah, that's for franchise sales, the kicker is usually, in my experience, getting away from working for the man.
Yeah.
Pure employee to the dream of being your own boss.
Yeah, you're being self-employed
Yeah.
and not knowing or having all the skills. I deal with people like that every day, so I'm wondering whether my business is an opportunity to franchise because we're dealing with the lower class of employee, being that we run a cleaning business, and I've got a friend that owns domestic, absolute domestic, who she's franchised hers. And it's like, do I go down that route with ours? We do holiday property, so we do Airbnbs. And there's 180,000 Airbnbs in Australia. It's 28,000 on the Gold Coast, and we are taking up 2% of the market, and we're a $5 million a year turnover business just on the Gold Coast. We're 2% of the
And
market.
interesting if it solves your staff issue that you were talking about before.
It would solve all my staff issues straight away. Yeah. Yeah, I've got some big staffing issues because they're all contractors, because they're all, international students working for us.
What about from staff?
That's how you want it to be
perspective?
recorded.
Like these
Yeah,
franchisees,
gotta go to Jenny.
got a staff member, they're working for them
Hey, Jen.
and they're junior, so they're paying them. Do you find that sometimes those people go, I want to be the franchisee now, and then they leave I've got my own firm, I've hired someone, now they want to do their own thing and go directly to you. How do you solve for that?
That's happened a couple of times. And doing the best I knew at the time. Art culture was the main consideration. So I had an in-depth conversation with the franchisee that were leaving. Hey, your contractor actually wants to leave you, and my loyalty is kind of senior with you. Do you have the abundant thinking to let him go and allow him to do that? I technically could do it anyway, or if we don't let him, he's going to go somewhere else. But what do you think? And fortunately, our culture is pretty strong. They're like, no, that's fine. Let him go. I'll get someone else, and I'll get someone else better. And that has happened a few times.
Yeah.
And they've worked in the transition. Like if they become a good franchisee.
They had a little bit of a rude shock,
Yeah.
as they do, because they think they know how everything
Well,
works.
they've seen all
But
the
then when
years
their
of it.
money's on the line, and one guy, he was our sales guy of the year, and he went and started up in Newcastle. And he had a bit of a rude shock because he had a taxable salary of about 200 as a contractor, and he had to find out the hard way about doing everything for himself in a brand new area. Mm.
So, I don't know what your revenue is at the moment, but can you talk about some of those shifts went from like on the big revenue milestones where he runs from say 1 million to 2 or 2 to 5 or whatever? What have been some of the lessons around those growing in those high revenue chunks?
Thinking.
Yeah. Take your time.
Yeah, okay. It would have been 2016, and I fully committed to business coaching and reading books, and I became a bit of a workaholic, but I knuckled down, and within a year or 2 years, I had a really good year. Sold my first. I was growing at the rate of about 1 to 3 franchisees a year, and I sold 8 in my best year. I was selling them myself back then, and I spent a lot of time and money investing in myself, and I did public speaking. And how I sold those 8, I also had the lowest acquisition cost of the franchises. It's about 25 grand per sale, by the way, but I had them down to 7 grand. And my formula was simple. I do Facebook ads to come to an information night, book a hotel, I'd fly down to Canberra, have between 1 and 7 people in the room, and I'd do my 90-minute pitch. I was doing them every week to every fortnight. It was a big year. I did about 40 events that year and sold 8.
Yeah.
I had a lot of no-shows on many of those 40. I spoke to a total of 52 people I worked out across those events and sold 8 franchises.
And it was all
50
all
people.
Facebook.
It's a pretty good strike rate,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
When
I
you
was
put
just
in
gonna say
52
8
to
to 50
8.
is actually pretty good for a
No.
franchise, yeah.
3 occasions there's 1 person in the room and I sold them.
Yeah, wow.
And that's like a room that could fit 50.
Yeah, you're nearly like, hope nobody turns up except for one guy.
So that's a hard sell because you'd rock up and go, did I make the right decision here on crickets
Yeah.
on the only
I
day?"
know. And this is so weird, but I took the public speaking so seriously. I did all these courses and everything, and they said, "Oh, if you hold an event, no one shows up, practice it to the empty room, even if no one shows."
Did
I
you do
did that.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's some commitment. Well done.
Mm.
So you in the 40 sessions, you only have 52 people across the 40. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
So that's an average of 1 and
1.2 or something.
I had 2 occasions, 8 people. There's a lot
So
of
you had a few
times,
occasions,
a lot
yeah.
of no shows, a lot of 2 or 3.
So your franchise actual strike rate was better than your actual turn up rate
Yeah.
for your meetings. Yeah.
Holding events and putting bums in seats is a business in itself.
Mhm.
Something that I never conquered.
but the commitment to go 10 events in a row with 1 person or 0 people and keep going.
Yeah,
That's insane.
So I remember talking to you when we caught up years
That's
ago,
unbelievable.
and you were talking about that model and doing that, and that was
Yeah.
one of your biggest challenges.
Mm-hmm.
How did you change it? Or how do you do it now? Or have you not cracked that nut and it's still hard?
No, so that's one thing that I saw as very successful, but it was all shame.
Yeah.
And I built the business so I burnt out from that, and unfortunately had partially contributed to a divorce, I'd say, around that time as well. My motivation from coaching was to not just build a business that grew without me, but have a business that grows without you. So then I started to get franchise brokers, and they do all the legwork for you. They have the 100 conversations with all the prospects. It's easy to get people inquiring to buy your business, but you have 100 meaningless conversations. Window shoppers, all the people that buy a business for less than $500. And that is my strategy at the moment. Just brokering. It's how they do it in America. Some bigger franchise companies will have an in-house sales guy on a commission or on a salary.
Yeah.
But I just use a franchise broker. They sell
How
business.
many a year are you bringing on at the moment?
They sell with yeah, maybe 2 or 3 a year, roughly. The success that I've had that's been the best has been a model that real franchises done. They open stores in like 40 franchises.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of the 45 franchisees, we have a 70-80% saturation. A lot of the guys own more than one territory, so I've sold them extra territory to the existing guys.
Yeah.
And that's equaled, a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's smart, because they're already bought in, right?
Yeah, and I trust them and I like them, and I've sold it only to the guys I like.
Well,
So
that's
how many franchisees can you go to? What's your
Well, doing that, I have 25 hot territories left in Australia out of the territory stock. I think we're going to cap out at somewhere like 50 or 60 guys.
And then a
For,
percentage
for
of them with
200
multiple.
territories.
Okay, territories was gonna be the thing, yeah.
That's awesome. Because McDonald's does something very similar.
Yeah.
They just sell in-house. They
Our-
don't, you can't
our-
get in.
Our territory stock's like 100,000 people. So, how many of them are in Australia? 250.
Pretty sure Macca's are starting to change that.
Can't get in, mate.
My mate works in head office that I do work for, and they're slowly starting to change because of the cost of them. Because they're like 3.5 million for, I think Sydney's 6 million now for a shop front. I think WA is still, but yeah, they're starting to change their model because they've got to try and get money in, because people that are working in Macca's don't have the money to do it. So he's saying that they're very shifting, is what he was telling me. They're trying to get people that know people, but you have to know someone. You can't just be an outsider and come in. So, but you've also got to have the money. It's a lot of fucking money to buy into a franchise now.
So any questions from guys? Any others? So let's just shift out to a big open question. What are some of your big lessons that you've had to learn, probably in the more recent time, like the last 5 to 10 years? But what are those big lessons that you've learned? You've been pivotal and you're being in the position you are today.
Oh, as you can imagine, there's been a lot. I had a girl working for me in head office. She lasted 7 years, and I didn't keep an eye on what she was doing, and she was ripping us off. She got let go. We found out what happened without leave and without pay and everything. She owed us a lot of money. She was copying, pasting, and reporting that she'd done all this work, and had because of COVID, working remotely. And I didn't keep an eye on things. Yeah.
How did you invoicing you for stuff she didn't do? Or
Just putting her hand out for the paycheck and just saying she'd done things, and she was covering it up. So it's digital marketing, SEO work. She was in marketing. And she was not working her 40 hours, she was working 2. She figured it out to kind of cheat the system.
and this went on for years.
She probably her own guilt, probably, but I kind of tried to quantitate how much it was, roughly 6 months worth. But her performance was really low in a lot of other ways, and I tolerated it for so long. So here's the lesson. I employed this new person in marketing. She came from hospitality, working in hospitals. What do you call that? Medical.
Medical, yeah.
And it's just a requirement in that industry. They're constantly changing how they do their procedures. And if they don't change, they lose their job. It's a requirement. She's come in and worked at marketing. She's been great. What's this? You're changing that for me, and you want to learn, and you want to do things, and you're happy to change. It's like, if I'm not changing things on her, she's unhappy. I love it. Who would have thought these people are out there She also does the work of the old chick that I got rid of, 3 times in about half the amount of time.
So she really only needed to be 2 hours a day.
I know my KPIs are way too low,
Yeah.
but she systemized it and she showed me a thing or two. So the big lesson, I don't know if there's a book where it came from. I don't know. Hire eagles, not ducks. Get rid of the ducks.
Yeah.
So my question would be, I'm in an industry where it lends itself to be a franchise business. Why would I want to do it?
So I would say I don't know what your work-life balance is like or what exact team you've got, but you might find you can. Okay, you can do a lot less. You can work a lot more. You could. You've got a proven business model. It'll make it more saleable as a whole. Who runs everything? Like you got 90 cleaners, I heard you say.
We've got about
Who manages
90
all that?
contractors. I've got an operations manager, a finance manager, a quality assurance manager.
Mhm.
I spend 2 days a week in the business.
Yeah.
I spend 2 days on the business and I spend 1 day on me
Mhm.
at the moment. And our business has doubled in size every year since we started in 2019. And we're on the same trajectory to do the same this year.
Mhm.
And we're a local business from Byron Bay to Brisbane. And we can see the opportunity to go national. I've got a corporate client that is begging me to take on his contract, his properties Australia-wide. So we look after 120 out of 8,000 properties for one client. And they want us to diversify and look after the lot.
Okay. Well, congratulations, and you're obviously doing really well. Just some
But
blind spots I see, but you probably already know them. How many clients do you have?
about 240.
240, but one's a big ticket.
I got one real big ticket one. Well, he's only 120 properties out of my 500 properties.
Just here's a question: what if you no longer have that one? How's that affect you?
8% of my revenue.
That so one is 80% of your revenue.
Eight.
Okay.
At the
So
moment.
that's okay.
At the moment,
If
he's
you
That
only,
won't
limited
kill
to
you.
8,000 properties.
Okay, so
that'd be a big
another
difference.
The
Yeah.
other 239 you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I've already lost a really big client this year.
Yeah.
And everyone worried about the dent it was going to put in the business.
Yeah.
The week after we lost the client, we did our largest week we'd ever
Yeah.
done. It was just the amount of stress that got released because it was a shit client.
Yeah.
The amount of stress that got released straight away, the team just flourished for the next month, and all of a sudden it was like I just signed another contract with another 30 properties.
Yeah.
We don't have a sales team either, by the way.
The only thing I can think of is loyalty. Like
Hmm.
you might find there's a hidden council that'll develop over time, and some smart cookie might take half your team.
Hmm.
They don't like you one day.
Mhm.
Franchising might prevent that.
Hmm.
But otherwise, your corporate model versus franchising, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. Just keep going.
The only problem with my current model is how we have contractors,
Yeah.
because the government's changed the contract laws to where they're deemed to be employees. And what I'm trying to do is look for opportunities where we can maintain it as a contractor base, or do we go to a franchise where the mum and dads have skin in the game and investment? We've absorbed maybe 35, 40 small cleaning companies in the last 2 years that have come to work for us because they didn't know how to run their own business.
Yeah.
They had 4 or 5 Airbnbs they were looking after. They didn't have enough to support themselves. And when they went on holidays, they were fucked. They lose all their clients. So we went, well, come and work for us. You'll earn more money.
Yeah.
We'll pay you as a contractor because you are a contractor. We'll absorb your 4 or 5 clients in our portfolio, but you'll get, enough work to support, instead of having, $500 income a week out of your 5 clients, we'll now give you $1,500 a week income, and you don't have any clients to worry about, and you don't have to worry about running a business. There's that side of it, because cleaners, people that choose to be cleaners, are choosing that industry for a reason.
Yeah.
80% of the people that work for me don't choose to be cleaners. they choose to need money to live because they're here for a short time. So I had a lot of South Americans, Brazilians, Colombians, Chileans working for me because they're here for a 12-month. I'm going to learn English. I need to support myself. Shit, it costs $450 for a room in a house on the Gold Coast right now. I need $1,000 a week just to keep my head above water.
What's your hiring, recruiting, and trade? You have a training process.
Training process, hiring process, full-time HR. We did last financial year 360 applicants, 280 hires that were trained and maintained for over 6 months, about 40 of those people. A lot of them were a month gone, 2 months gone. No, I don't like the work, it's too hard. So we've got a complete revolving door. So why we don't have a sales system in place is because we put in an employment system instead, because that was our biggest hurdle, was having continuous employees or continuous people wanting to work. We've niched it in the fact that we're using South Americans. All my team speak Spanish, Portuguese, German, and French.
Except for you.
Except for me, yep. I've got, out of the 100 odd people that work for me right now, maybe one Aussie, might be two this month, but that's it. No one local wants to do the job. It's too hard for them to go and clean an Airbnb property. A nice $3 million unit on the beach is hard work.
What's your retention rate like?
Customer or
For the cleaners?
Or cleaners, I would say 20% of the cleaners last a year. 60% of them last 6 months, and the rest last between a month and 3 months. So constant, yeah. So we average.
Is that a pain point for you?
It is, yeah. We average. Yeah. We put on 3 cleaners a week.
Yeah.
On average.
I'm still racking my brain as to why would you. That franchising would fix that, but then you can't recruit franchises at the rate you're getting them at, because you've got to sell a business, not just do.
I understand that part of it, but I'm looking at national rollout of a business and an opportunity to roll it out nationally rather than being a local. Like, we're doing really well locally.
Cleaning lends itself to master franchising.
Yeah.
A lot more. You sell like a city or a state.
Yeah.
My good friend does commercial cleaning. So, and then they can look after 90 cleaners over in Adelaide.
Yeah, we've got all the systems to look after them. That's not a real big issue.
Yeah.
Like we've got that revolving door of how we've trained them, how we've got them up to speed. We've got our supply chains for our consumables, our linens, all of those things, because it's a housekeeping service.
This is why you would franchise. I reckon all your cleaners are not unit franchisees.
Yeah.
The franchise is this area.
Yep.
And they would look however many you could divide that up into per franchise. It'd be, an area big enough where they could get to between 10 to 50 cleaners. And you get that divided up in Australia, and you sell that as a franchise.
Right, yeah. So when we look at the competition in the marketplace for us here on the Gold Coast, and know there's over 5,000 cleaners on the Gold Coast right now.
Yep.
Out of those, around 40% are in the STR industry or are providing short-term rental cleaning. So 60% of them are mainly domestic cleaners or commercial cleaners. So you've got Simply Domestics that handle most of the domestic side of it. They're one of the largest ones. You've got your commercial companies that only deal with strata and those. So they're a different vein to us completely. We're specifically look after short-term rentals. So we're that Airbnb, Booking.com space. We know there's 28,000 properties in that space on the Gold Coast, and we handle 500 of them. So there's the opportunity to have master franchises is.
Is there anything stopping you from going from accommodation?
What we might do,
Sorry,
that was a big long question with more
context
rather than question.
Yeah.
I think that's helpful though.
Yeah.
But we might shift on to another question.
Yep.
Do you guys have any? While you're thinking, and Jenny, have a think about a question. I'll throw one at you, Shane. AI, topical. How are you guys using AI at the moment?
We're not. Up until very recently, we've deliberately avoided AI. So our marketing, we see 2 ways that AI can help us, and that is in content creation and marketing. So our girls are creating the equivalent of a novel per fortnight. And they're that well trained or that good at their jobs that they can write a 1,500 word article faster than they can prompt AI to do it and then check it and then publish it. By the time they do all that legwork of checking it and making sure it's AI is right, and tried a lot of different tools, they just do it themselves. The other way is it's not quite there yet, but it's getting close. And the voice tools of AI, we want to do some sales campaigns where AI calls all our customers, with 150,000 people, and does courtesy calls and sales calls and client appreciation, thank you calls, that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
okay.
How do you think the Australian public will perceive that if they know it's AI? Or you
Well-
think you're gonna get away with them not knowing it's AI?
Well, because we haven't done it, I have no
I'd be interested to
idea,
see how you test and measure that one
But
and follow it.
I think Aussies have good bullshit detectors, and
Yeah.
I don't think it's there yet. Like, it'll probably fool a lot of people, but then it won't fool a lot of people.
What's the next big opportunity, plan, goal for you?
I started 3 companies in the last 30 days. AV Magic, our commercial division, that's going bananas at the moment. We're installing 100 grand screens in car dealerships and shopping centers and stuff like that. And Security Magic, so that's another add-on to the Magics, TV Magic, Assembly Magic, Security, the cameras and alarms, a whole nationwide franchise, and Magic Marketing. Our in-house marketing girls, that's a business of itself where we could help other businesses. But also that Magic Marketing is going to sell the media and digital ads that you see on TVs at a gym or in a waiting room or whatever. Like a KFC store, when they get a new burger, they pay another company to change the menu remotely on their TVs. So we're getting into that industry.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
exciting.
Content media management.
So it's while they're new businesses, they're really just adding breadth to your verticals.
Yeah.
With the same opportunity
Yeah.
markets. Okay, so in that iteration, what do you see as your biggest challenges for your business? Or businesses?
Building an exact team that people I like.
Yeah.
But get the job done, I guess. That's new for me. I take inspiration from the likes of Hydro Dog. They had 9 or 300 franchisees and 1 or 2 head office staff. I've always wanted to have a lean head office, but I think growth happens with the right partners and that as well.
Yeah.
And I know I have different ideas to a lot of people, so and I'm very tolerant, whereas I find a lot of people aren't tolerant of me. For good reason, probably. But yeah, I see that's my biggest challenge.
Yeah, straight.
Yeah.
That's amazing, thanks. Anyone else? One other question, thought, share?
Just kind of curious, you probably already answered this, but you mentioned like you show this super amount of commitment going around flying all over the place and selling your franchises in all these different states. How did you what was the piece of information or the thing that strikes you in terms of, hey, I have this and I actually believe that this is going to actually work. What was is any kind of strikeouts that you had?
Like doubt that it wouldn't work.
Not doubt, like just as in what could be anything. Like what was driving that level of commitment, I guess is what I was really asking.
Yeah, it seemed like my excuse me, my real worst case scenario was not that bad. My real worst case scenario wasn't, oh, I'm gonna lose all my money. My real worst case scenario was, oh, this $3,000 will turn into 6 minimum. Like in my head. So yeah, I can't live off 6 grand, but nah, that's worth it. my real, like, I just thought about it and I've worked out my real worst case scenario. That's how I've always approached any risk. If I don't see a worst case scenario where it's at least a step forward, it's not worth doing. And it didn't always work out like that. Sometimes it was a complete failure, but I got a lesson out of it. Hey, everyone learns like that, but I never commit to anything unless I think the upside is the worst upside. The worst case scenario still has an upside.
Yeah.
Does that
Makes sense, yeah.
does that work?
Yeah, Shane, you said like you wouldn't do it again, the way you did it.
Yeah.
You'd buy a franchise today. Do you think if you did it that way, you would have the insight and knowledge that you've gained over the years to be
No.
successful? So
No.
could you really, like, if you said to one of these guys, just go buy a franchise, would they know what you know?
No, they wouldn't. I met the owner of a very large franchise company. Yeah, I'm gonna name drop this one. James Home Services. Ever heard of them? The new owner shouldn't have bought it. Has no idea what he's doing. Very business savvy, but knows nothing about franchising, and he's now screwed that up. And
Do you think you would have made it work if you bought it not knowing anything about franchising?
no, there's a lot to learn, and franchising very different to corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. It's a very people business.
So here's a question then, what would you recommend to somebody that was wanting to transition from either business or corporate into franchise? What sort of learning continuum or what pathway would you recommend for them to be able to do it staged and well?
You have to go through all the motions. You speak to a franchise lawyer, and because they deal in only franchising, they have a world of advice for you for your industry, because chances are they know some good advice on the structure for your lawn mowing or whatever industry you're in, and immerse yourself into as many franchising professionals as possible and mentees and colleagues, other people in franchising. I used to go take people out to lunch that had franchise businesses. I remember there's a guy had 12 laundromats when I first started. I'd catch up with him every week. I tried to catch up with Tom Potter, Eagle Boys, and he was my customer, so I was always trying to catch up with him. Join the FCA. There's so many things happening. It's like when you're involved, there's so much you can get into. Just immerse yourself into all of it.
Fantastic. Jenny,
Shane, I just I wanted to ask, have you ever had to say no to a new, somebody coming along that you just thought, no, they just don't align with our core values or anything like that? Have you ever knocked back a new franchisee? And how did you approach that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, quite a lot. There's a good saying in franchising, franchises aren't sold, they're granted. And knocked back more than we've ever said yes to, culturally, or their attitude was not just there. And sometimes when we have a dry spell, we haven't granted a franchise for 6 months or so, we do start to feel a bit desperate, and we've said yes to sometimes our better judgment, and they have come back against us. What do you know? They turned out to be problem child. Had that happen twice. We vouch never to go there again, but yeah,
we're not going to go there again until next time.
Till next time. No, we've been burned. Definitely yes. How do we go about it? Is well, it's easier than you think. We just decide not to tolerate any substandard. Usually they'll choose for themselves if you're clear about your values. And in franchising, it's easy. You don't really need to give them a reason to not grant it. You just say, I don't think you're a cultural fit. Thank you very much for applying. Here's your deposit back or something. But
Do you ever get worried about your brand and your brand reputation?
Not the way I've structured it,
Okay.
because you get the right people and you set up the structure right, they care more about the branding and the reputation for their own sake than I have to.
Okay.
If they ruin it, they're ruining it for themselves. And yes, I'm pissed, but they know how much it affects them. And if you got someone that doesn't give a crap, you get the wrong person. But with
Have you ever had someone halfway through their thing, like you're saying, on the problem trials, and then had to actually get rid of them from conduct or whatever? Like 2 years in, 6 months in, type of thing.
no, we have had breachable events, but most of the time there's a story behind it. There's something going on in their personal lives, and it's just a conversation. Hey, this isn't cool, and you need to change it. Maybe 1 or 2 reminders are and they sort themselves, but not really. No. We got the team pressure now to where they all hold each other accountable. It always comes out in the wash. We'll find out one day, but it usually just takes just a conversation, a bit unfair. But I put it back on why I don't make them wrong, I just make the behavior wrong. So yeah.
How do you get the guys as a community working together? How do they communicate on a regular basis? What do you do from that perspective? You do events?
Yeah, so we used to do a lot of monthly Zoom meetings. Nowadays they've got each and every one of them on hot dial, and they're texting and talking all the time. But our Facebook community group and yearly conferences, that's a big one. So we catch up yearly, have a lot of fun, have a lot of learnings, and
Is that compulsory?
yes.
And do you keep it Australia, or you go overseas, or how do you go?
So far Australia. Yeah, we do away home, Gold Coast, Sydney, Gold Coast, Melbourne, Gold Coast, Perth, like that sort of thing.
Sweet. Now I'm really conscious of Shane's time, so I think we'll wrap it up there. Shane, if any questions do come up over the next day, I'll just reach out and ask, and if you got any insights on it. Any final comments that shares thing? So Shane, just on behalf, thanks for your time. It's always fascinating seeing someone else, and thank you for sharing so openly about the hard times, the good times, and where you're at. We really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
I hope he's learned something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really.
Cheers, mate.
Next, you need to find eagles to implement those systems and get rid of the ducklings. If you can't train the ducklings to be an eagle, get rid of them. There's a mantra that might help you remember this. I can't believe I'm doing this. Don't fuck with the ducks or the ducks will fuck. And our third thing is you need an MM. What's an MM? It starts with M and it ends in marketing machine. What is it?
Marketing machine.
I can't hear you.
Marketing machine.
Marketing machine. So after Domino's, I get into this business with not a lot of repeat transactions. And I turned this into a national franchise. So out of necessity, I had to build a marketing machine that now produces 400 to 650 new paying customers every week. How did I do that? Well, for you business owners in the room that have less than 5 marketing strategies on the go, you might be in trouble. I have over 70. If these 70 people over here roughly were all my marketing strategies, it'd be like, you sir, I give you $1, you give me $3 back. You sir, I give you $1, you give me $14 back. Yay. Some people say this marketing strategy doesn't work, and it's not about whether a strategy works or not, it's in the execution. I'll point out someone in your industry that is killing it with the same strategy that you say doesn't work. As an example, sir, your $3, there's nothing wrong with you per se, but you're just not performing in the bank account.